I've got big crypto news for you guys. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse highlights that the company has received approval for its RLUSD stablecoin to go live. I'll give you the details there. And Goldman Sachs CEO weighs in on the company's crypto plans. And will Google's new quantum chip be used to take down Bitcoin? I'll share what some folks are saying and what we can expect. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button, as well as the thumbs up button, and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, let's start by taking a look at the market. We're seeing a bit of a recovery here for Bitcoin and certain altcoins, specifically XRP and Cardano. But I think it's still too early to judge this. I think we have to let the week play out and let the market show us which direction it wants to go in, because we're talking probabilities here. We don't have a crystal ball, and we could see further downside pressure before bouncing and heading upwards. So let's be patient, but good to see there's some level of recovery, even though it's pretty minuscule. And, we kind of want to watch what Bitcoin's going to do because Bitcoin leads the market. So if Bitcoin finds some support and starts moving up again this week, that's very good for the entire market. But my gut tells me that we might be in a bit of a sideways chop for maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks before we see things move up again. So just be patient. This is the market cycles playing out. And remember, embrace the volatility, because the volatility that gives you these crazy swing downwards also gives you these incredible swing upwards. It's like a pendulum. Think of it that way. So be patient, and higher prices will eventually come as the bull market continues, because we are in the midst of the bull market. There has been no invalidation. So be patient, guys. Now, big news, guys. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse tweeted out this afternoon, "This just in, we have final approval from the NYDFS for RLUSD. Exchange and partner listings will be live soon. And reminder, when RLUSD is live, you'll hear it from Ripple first." So RLUSD is, of course, the stablecoin being issued by Ripple. It's going to be launched on the XRP ledger and Ethereum. We know that Charles Hoskinson has been talking to Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz at Ripple about having RLUSD on Cardano, but I think that's going to be later down the line. But the launch will be on the XRP ledger and Ethereum. This is huge news on multiple fronts. First, very big for Ripple as a company and the valuation of that company and their eventual plans to do an IPO and so forth. Second, very big for the XRP ledger, because on this podcast, we've often talked about Metcalfe's Law. And Metcalfe's Law talks about network effects. The more participants you have on a network, the more activity, more users and so forth, the more stronger the network becomes and the more valuable it becomes. And of course, with blockchains, you have a native token, so the token becomes valuable as well. So think of Facebook. Facebook was worth millions of dollars before they even monetized the platform at all. Go read the book, go read the history, watch The Social Network and so forth, right? It made no money for years, but yet it was valuated at millions of users. Why? Because there was people on there. There was network effects. So it had the potential for monetization and much more. Same type of principle applies to blockchains. So that's why this is bullish for the XRP ledger. It's bullish for XRP because remember, when these transactions are happening on the XRP ledger, the token is being used, even in micro transactions, right? The token greases the wheel. This is the same for every blockchain, Ethereum, Solana, and so forth. So you have that benefit. The third element to this being significant is the stablecoin market continues to grow. RLUSD is of course going to be a US-born stablecoin. It joins USDC, PYUSD, and obviously Tether, but Tether wasn't started in the US. It's outside the US, but it's the largest stablecoin out there, of course. And we'll see how Ripple, what their strategy is and go-to-market strategy to gain market penetration is and capture market share. But I think they're going to be off to a good start because they've already built a pipeline and a network, a global network with banks and payment service providers and so forth. So it's going to be pretty easy for them to position and inject this stablecoin into those respective jurisdictions, countries, markets, and so forth. So very good news. And from a macro perspective, this is, of course, very good for the price of XRP, given that we are in a bull market. Kind of any news is good news in the bull market, right? Unless it's detrimental, but this would only benefit the price of XRP. And of course, I'm sure you guys have seen my interviews with Brad Garlinghouse and Jack McDonald and different people from Ripple about this stablecoin. And if you haven't, go check those out. They're in a playlist. I'll link to some in the description where you can learn about these things, guys. So that's really big, guys. Huge news for Ripple. But let's move ahead here. We got news from Goldman Sachs. So $3 trillion asset manager Goldman Sachs says it will evaluate participating in Bitcoin or Ethereum markets if regulators permit. These comments are coming from their CEO, David Solomon, who spoke at Reuters' next press conference about the firm's future in crypto, saying the further investments, will be evaluated. Right now, Goldman Sachs does hold Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. So back in November, Goldman Sachs submitted its 13F filing with the SEC. According to the filing, the financial giant holds around $710 million worth of Bitcoin ETFs already as of September 30th, 2024. So we know they want to jump all in. If BlackRock and all these other institutions are participating, Goldman Sachs is going to want to do more. They're going to want to tokenize and so forth. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's just when. And one of the things that's been holding them back has been the SEC's SOB 121 rule, which doesn't permit them to hold Bitcoin and crypto directly. I think once that rule is out the way, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all these guys are going to go all in. So get ready. Things are going to heat up and game theory is going to play out here. No one wants to get left behind. At the end of the day, if this asset is generating a ton of fees and there's demand for it and you're not offering it, and there's a race among all the Wall Street firms, at the end of the day, the goal for them is to generate as much revenue as possible and, of course, as much profit as possible. You're going to look like an idiot not participating here. So I think they're going to, do a lot more. And I think once there's clear regulations, it's going to open the floodgates, guys. There's a lot of capital still on the sidelines that wants to participate, but they can't. And once the legislation comes through, it's going to be exciting times. Guys, a great place you can buy Bitcoin, XRP, and different altcoins is on Uphold. This is a platform I've been using since 2018. Uphold is one of my go-to exchanges. They are simple to use. They're reliable. They have 300 plus cryptocurrencies. They're available in over 150 countries. They also offer precious metals, and you can actually swap precious metals for crypto and fiat and much more. It's a pretty unique platform. And they are fully transparent, guys. You can review their transparency report. They are 100% reserved. They don't commingle or lend out your crypto assets. And they have a great product called USD interest accounts where you can park your dry powder or crypto profits and earn 4.65% APY. There are no lockups. You can pull your cash in and out at any point. There are no monthly fees, and it's FDIC insured just like a bank. So if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, visit the link in the description. All right, guys, moving ahead. I'm sure many of you heard Google has launched Willow, their newest quantum chip. And they said here in under 5 minutes, it's able to perform a benchmark computation that would take one of today's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion years. That's greater than the age of the universe. So technology is moving at a rapid pace, and we are living in the fourth industrial revolution with AI, robotics, blockchain and crypto, EVs, space exploration. You see all these things are happening, guys. It's the next industrial revolution, and we're living in the midst of it. It's amazing times, and yes, the world has problems, but you also got to stop to appreciate all the great things that are happening and what the future may look like. But a lot of people are coming out saying, hey, will this type of technology, these super chips and computers, be used to take down blockchains? And for example, like Bitcoin, right? So someone addressed this, and I want to share the details because there's a lot of FUD being spread, but we got to go back to facts. So shout out to Ben Sigmund. He's actually the author of the Big Bitcoin book. And he says, today, Google announced that Willow has reached 105 qubits with improved error rates. Should Bitcoiners worry? Short answer, no. Bitcoin relies on two types of encryption. First is the ECDSA 256, vulnerable to Shor's algorithm, but cracking it would require over 1 million qubits. Willow's 105 isn't even close. Second, SHA-256, even tougher, requires a different approach, Grover's algorithm, and millions of physical qubits to pose a real threat. Bitcoin's cryptography remains SAFU for now. So we're still early. This thing is nowhere near powerful enough to take down the Bitcoin network. The other thing to keep in mind, and I think this has been addressed for years now, if this technology is coming out, guess what? The mining technology is going to be updated with it, right? Just as we have seen the upgrade of mining equipment over the years as computation and technology has gotten better. So, do the miners have to make sure they upgrade? Hell yeah, right? They need to make sure their equipment and everything is upgraded. But is there anything to worry about now? Like all of a sudden, Will is going to take down the Bitcoin network or other blockchains? No. And if it gets to a point where it can do that, then we got bigger problems. Then, this thing could take over the world. It could take down governments and all that, right? We got bigger problems. So, right now, nothing to worry about, but I do believe the miners will update their respective technology and mining equipment accordingly as this technology progresses. Now, today there was a big conference happening in the UAE around Bitcoin, and Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, said he predicts a $1 million Bitcoin. He also stated that he believes that cryptocurrencies are the future. Banking is slow as hell. It's antiquated and it doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense that banks run on 9 to 5 schedules, 5 days a week. So he's absolutely right. I agree with him there. All right, guys, some not so good news for Bitcoin. The Microsoft shareholders voted against a Bitcoin investment, the preliminary votes shows. So this is not really unexpected because the board, if you recall, was not in favor of the idea. Now the shareholders had to ultimately make the decision, and they said no at this point. But do I think eventually, once again, not a matter of if, but when they will do this? I think so. And I shared my reasons in the previous podcast that if BlackRock is here tokenizing, financializing Bitcoin and crypto, and we've seen what they've done with other commodities and movements like ESG, a lot of people have to fall in line, right? A lot of corporates were jumping on the ESG train, if you recall, and obviously that whole movement died down and so forth. But I think BlackRock, if the U and along with the U.S. government, forming a Bitcoin strategic reserve, is going to make it easy for these corporates to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet. And we're seeing across the globe companies are doing this. And recently, we got a report that a company was going to add Bitcoin and XRP as part of its reserves. So, these things are going to happen in phases. It's going to be crawl, walk, run, right? Not everyone's going to be Michael Saylor, and just go buy a shit ton of Bitcoin and raise incredible amounts of debt to buy Bitcoin. So, but I think, eventually this will happen, guys. All right, moving ahead. This is a surprise. Caitlin Long of Custodia Bank highlighted that the New York Times actually did some good reporting today, where they highlighted the Operation Chokepoint 2.0 and the debanking of crypto. And, that was led by Elizabeth Warren and her cronies in the anti-crypto army. Look at the headline from the New York Times: How Crypto Insiders Turned Debanking into a Political Storm. So Caitlin Long read through and saying it's a balanced story from them. So they actually did a good job. And she highlighted how Punchbowl, 60 Minutes, and Washington Post and others were running denial stories about this situation. So the truth is going to come out. I mean, we got congressional hearings, we got proof, we got letters, Coinbase and these guys released. So all these people who are part of this thing they're going to get exposed. Final news item here. We got news that Coinbase Institutional, they're integrating Chainlink, and I'm bullish on Chainlink. I hold it in my portfolio in full transparency. They tweeted out, "We're excited to announce that our Project Diamond platform is integrating the Chainlink standard for on-chain finance. Chainlink will unlock utility and unify liquidity across the Project Diamond platform." So this is pretty great. And you're just seeing Chainlink being used by other blockchains and many different companies. The technology is pretty amazing. So this is why I'm holding it in my portfolio, not financial advice, of course. So they said here in their press release, by natively integrating Chainlink standard, Coinbase's Project Diamond platform can now offer data and cross-chain connectivity in a secure way that helps meet the compliance needs of institutional adopters. So big stuff, guys. All right, folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. A great way you can support me, guys, is by signing up for my free email newsletter on Substack. It's 100% free. And grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. Grab a copy for yourself. Grab a few copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. Give it as a gift this holiday. And if you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.